we're the movement, we're the crowd. Hooligans stand tall tonight. Global army burning bright. Hooligans united, worldwide ignited. Jeff Mac forever, we stand together.
What is up, hooligans, and happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. We're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats, so let me know how you hooligans are doing today. Then, of course, we'll be getting things started. First, I want to give a huge shout out to Anonymous Donor. Thank you so much for the PayPal. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I want to give a huge shout out to Craig. Thank you so much for the PayPal. I wonder some things. But either way, thank you so much, Craig. I really appreciate you. We're going to be starting out with this first video, and this first one's going to be a triply. It's all President Trump. The first one's titled, Trump Not Happy with Iran Talks. The second one, Trump raises the prospect of a friendly takeover of Cuba. Maybe Cuba is going to become the 52nd state. And then the third video, President Trump says he is not considering declaration of national emergency in order to seize control of elections, which sounds like seeds planted by fake news. Then we have a video titled Nancy Guthrie's neighbor shares new ring camera footage from the night of her kidnapping. I've been asking about that. I'm like, it's a wealthy neighborhood and Nancy's house is the only one that had security cameras? That doesn't make sense. Well, I guess once it hit 1 million doll hairs, the neighbor across the street was like, well, maybe we can go look up the footage. Either way, then we got another follow-up video. It's titled, Trump says U.S. government will immediately cease use of Anthropic AI. Now, we covered a video talking about Anthropic AI, and the only requirements that Anthropic had was they're willing to make the deal with the Pentagon. They just don't want the AI to be used for surveillance of the American people, and they don't want the AI to be used for autonomous lethal weapons, meaning that they want a person to be somewhere in the loop of using lethal weapons. Well, Pentagon says that's not good enough, and now President Trump's about to cut ties with them. Then we got a video titled, Former President Bill Clinton testifies about ties to Epstein, which is a whole bunch of nothing, just like when Hillary was up there. Then we got our midlife break, our funny video halfway through. Today it was provided by Stoner, and it's titled Kittysaurus. Then getting back into the news, we got a video titled 39 now charged in St. Paul Church protest against ICE as additional arrests are made. It's up to 39 now. I don't know how many people were involved in that protest, but they're cracking down on them. Then we have an interesting video titled Military Laser Misfire Down CBP Drone in West Texas. So they got the frickin' lasers. Then we got a video titled Enforcement Begins for New Gender Marker Bill in Kansas and What You Need to Know. Apparently in Kansas they were allowing people to change their gender on their driver's license, and they just passed a new law, and now they need to undo that. So if people have changed their gender, they need to go and replace their license because their license is no longer valid. Then we have a video titled, and this one was provided by Gingerfire, 173 arrested in major human trafficking operation in Scottsdale. Then for the last little bit of the news, it is not Lefties Losing It as much as I wish it was, but they don't make videos on Friday for whatever reason that is. I'd way rather have Lefties Losing on Friday than Monday, but you know, whatever's whatever. So instead we have 2 Americans involved in deadly Cuba shooting. This is another follow-up. They're saying at least 2 of the 10 people that were on the boat that approached Cuba were Americans. One was smoked and the other one's injured. It's one of the 6 survivors that were all injured. Then we're going to be getting into the fun stuff. We're going to be opening today's drawer of the Advent Calendar sent by Watchman. And I did get this puzzle back together, by the way. It's I don't know. It's neat, but it's a little disappointing compared to the other ones. I'll show you guys when we get to it. Then we got our 2 funny videos of the day. First one is provided by Contains Alcohol, and it's titled There's No Losers. And our official funny video of the day was provided by Hair Juicer, and it's titled The Burger Product. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat and see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com. What's up, Larry? What's up, Ghostly? What's up, Russell? What's up, Tin Man? What's up, Snooks? And what's up, Green Eyes? Happy freedom, you hooligans. I appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone over on Rumble? Wrench, you were first today. Happy freedom to you, Wrench, and I appreciate you racing in the chat. Green Eyes, you're omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Too Old to Care? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Appeal to Heaven? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Keep It Salty? What's up, Dutton? What's up, Kevin? Happy freedom to you, Hooligans. Sliding through here. Let me see. What's up, Puff and Stuff? If I can get you already, happy freedom to you. Make sure we get everybody. What's up, H Big? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Watchman? Happy freedom. Gotta get everybody. Klaus Daniels, you need to clock in, buddy. You need to clock in. What's up, Bright Gaming? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Elder Zoomer? Happy freedom to you. And what's up, Turbo? Happy freedom. Big boobies, all my lord. That's right, Turbo. Amen. What is up, everyone over on Kick? What's up, Meta? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? Happy freedom to you, Hooligans. And what is up, everyone over on the GoofTube? Road Trips, you were first today. Happy freedom to you. Larry, happy freedom to you. Appreciate you being omnipresent, Larry. Meta, you were omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Agent O? Happy freedom. Sly Dog, you were omnipresent. Almost everybody's omnipresent over here. What's up, Blessing? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Cheeky Chops? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Robert? Happy freedom. Russell, you were omnipresent. I appreciate you. Dutton, you were omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Christine? Happy freedom to you. Let me see. What's up, Herman? Happy freedom. I think we got everybody. Go ahead and hit that like button. It's like a big F you to censorship. What is your name? We'll go with 84 for now. Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on X? Happy freedom to you, Hooligans. Let's go ahead and get into things. Like I said, we're going to be starting off with a triply. All of it is by President Trump. First one is President Trump talking about these Iran talks. He's not real thrilled with how things are going. As you can hear, Marine One's in the background making all that damn noise. Because God forbid the press gathers anywhere other than where there's loud noise. Go ahead and hit that like button and let's get into this.
I'm not happy with the fact that they're not willing to give us what we have to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We're talking later. We'll have some additional talks today. But no, I'm not happy with the way they're going. We haven't made a final decision. We're not exactly happy with the way they're negotiating. They cannot have nuclear weapons, and we're not thrilled with the way they're negotiating. So we'll see how it all works.
Is there a risk that strike could turn into a long, drawn-out conflict in the Middle East?
I guess you could say there's always a risk. You know, when there's war, there's a risk in anything, both good and bad. We've had tremendous luck with myself, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi. Everything's worked out, and then we do the Midnight Hammer and so many others. Everything's worked out, and we want to keep it that way. But we're going to see. Look, it'd be wonderful if they'd negotiate really in good conscience, good faith and conscience, but they are not getting there. So far, Peter, they're not getting there.
And has your team told you that if you use the military now, that there will be regime change right away?
No, nobody's told me that. You don't know. I mean, nobody knows. There might be and there might not be. It'd be nice if we could do it without, but sometimes you have to do it with. When you looked at we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's nothing close. I'd love not to use it, but sometimes you have to.
Okay. So that's the first one, talking about Iran. We're going to get in the second of the triply here. This one is talking about us potentially taking over Cuba. Now the wording of it is really interesting. It's titled, Trump Raises the Prospect of a Friendly Takeover of Cuba. I don't know what a friendly takeover is, but either way, let's get into this.
The Cuban government is talking with us, and they're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the votes?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going on. Well, Cuba's doing very badly. They're failing. Cuba right now is, to put it mildly, a failing nation. And I've been hearing about Cuba, I said before, since I'm a little boy, I've been hearing about Cuba, and everybody wanted to change, and I can see that happening. Marco Rubio is dealing on it, and at a very high level. And, you know, they have no money, they have no oil, they have no food, and it's really right now a nation in deep trouble, and they want our help.
All right, so that's the second out of 3 here. Let's get this third one pulled up, and then we will hop in the chat. Now, this one is some sort of conspiracy or something. Like I said earlier, this is some sort of seeds planted by fake news. It's titled, Trump says that he is not considering declaring a national emergency in order to seize control of elections. I don't even know why they would think that stupid shit, but either way, let's get into this and then we'll hop in the chat.
Are you considering a national emergency? Are you considering a national emergency around the midterm election?
Who told you that?
There's been reporting that there's an executive order, proposed executive order about this. Are you looking at that? Are you considering that?
Mr. President,
What about for voter ID? What about for voter ID?
Mr. President, what's your message?
Okay. So that's the Tripoli there. Next up we have Nancy Guthrie's neighbor shares new Ring camera footage from the night of her kidnapping. I guess they didn't want to come forth until the reward money was up to $1 million. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about these first 3 videos. Like I said, the first one here, President Trump not thrilled with the way that Iran is negotiating. President Trump also mentioning that there is a potential risk that we may strike them. We are telling people to evacuate. We're telling Americans to evacuate in Iran. I think something else is going on too. I think Pakistan and Afghanistan decided to go to war today or something. I don't know. I hope one of them wins because it seems like nothing good happens in those countries. So, you know, whatever's whatever. One wipes the other out. That's one less problem. But either way, then the second video there, President Trump saying that Cuba is broke and we may be doing a friendly takeover of Cuba, give them that Venezuela treatment. I don't know. Canada better sign up. These other countries are becoming the 51st state. The race is on. And then the third video there, Trump saying that he is not considering a declaration of national emergency in order to seize the midterm elections. That's just the goofy ass idea that they put out there so the Democrats have something to about. I think they forgot about Project 2025. They should bring that back. That was at least, you know, something worth laughing at. Anyways, like I said, follow up on Nancy Guthrie, that whole situation there. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat. What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom to you. Russell, look at the construction cranes. Go ballroom. Yeah. Yep, making the controversial ballroom, which that shouldn't even be controversial considering Trump and independent donors are the ones paying for it. But, you know, they got to cry about something. Wrench, I appreciate you being omnipresent. What's up, Minnesota? Happy freedom to you. Wrench, Trump's track record is to mess stuff up on the weekend, then the stock market is closed, so no one loses money. Yeah, that is kind of the thing, isn't it? We'll see what happens. If anything happens tonight, we'll be covering it tomorrow for Free Speech Saturday. Otherwise, we'll probably be covering the outcome of whatever may happen on Monday. Reading through here. Also, I see that everybody's saying that Kevin was first today, so my bad. I guess you were first today, Kevin, but I had to reset the live a million times before I could see us pop up on Rumble, and when that happens, it just renews the chat, and so that's why that happened. It was not intentional, and now it makes me question if we're going to call out who's first anymore, since it's creating more problems than anything else. Christine, why couldn't law enforcement get court order to get all the video feed from every camera in the area? Well, they could. It's just whether or not they do it. What's really interesting is the way they depict police work on TV is so fake. That stuff is so fake. That is not how law enforcement actually operates. They're actually really lazy about shit, unless you got a lot of money. Or maybe they like hate you for some reason. Like maybe you've been in trouble and you get out of trouble, then they work really hard like keeping you in jail and stuff because they got a bias against you. But the thing is they're just regular people, and they're burned out. On top of that, they're burned out. They see the world as a terrible place full of terrible people, and I feel like they cut corners and slack off if they're able to because they're overworked and stuff like that. I mean, they're just people. They're just humans. And so I don't know. I have no idea. You would think that that's what the first thing they would do is get any and all camera footage in the area. But here we are like 3 or 4 weeks later, and now all of a sudden, person across the street realized they have camera footage. And it's like, I don't know. The whole thing sounds weird. Sounds really weird. Christine, now she most likely will never be found. Shame on that neighbor. Yeah, and it is weird because even if law enforcement didn't get any kind of FOIA request or to get a warrant for it, right? Have a judge warrant that footage in the area gets, taken or whatever. That neighbor knows what's going on. Everybody in the country knows what's going on. So how come they didn't come forth and tell the reward money was $1 million? So it's very weird, but the entire thing is very weird. Either way, moving forward here, like I said, Nancy Guthrie's neighbor shares new Ring camera video from the night of her kidnapping. Now, they don't actually know if the camera footage shows the vehicle of the kidnapper person or anything like that. It's just a new lead while they're waiting on the DNA stuff, because they ran the DNA and they didn't come up with any matches, which just means that whoever took her isn't in the criminal database, at least like to that level. And so they're going to try and run it through an advanced system, and they're saying it could take up to a year or maybe even longer before they get any results. So this is kind of their newest lead. Go ahead and hit the like button and let's get into this.
Out west now, live look over Tucson, Arizona. The search for Nancy Guthrie continues once again this morning. A neighbor who lives about 5 to 10 minutes away has come forward with some new video showing several cars passing by her home over the course of a few hours the night Nancy vanished. That video in question now, you can see those cars passing by. This is the Ring camera right here. About a dozen or so cars come by between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning, February 1st, the day she was reported missing. Investigators believe it was between those hours Nancy was abducted over the course of that night. Detectives say, again, 12 cars passed by. It's not clear if they are looking at any cars that may have gone by more than once or twice. We'll see. This home is about 2 miles away from Nancy's home. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office are aware of this and are investigating. Also, this morning, we're hearing Savannah Guthrie plans to return to New York soon and resume her duties at the Today Show.
Okay. So they're going to analyze the footage there and see if they can figure out if any of those vehicles are connected to the kidnapper. And we'll see. We'll see what that turns out like, because this story will remain in the news. I don't know why. It's top priority. Either way, next up, Trump says U.S. government will immediately cease use of Anthropic AI. Now, this is really interesting for a couple reasons. This is a follow-up, and I think it's interesting because the only thing they don't want their AI used for is doing surveillance on the American people, and don't make autonomous lethal weapons like Terminators. That's their only request. Just don't use it for that. Pentagon's like, nope, we want to be able to use it for those things. That's pretty concerning. And President Trump, and we heard it earlier today when we covered him live, he wants nothing to do with this company. Now, what they don't really talk about, and I mean, I think they might mention it, but they don't really highlight it. When we covered the first video on this, they were saying that they require Anthropic to play ball, or else they're going to claim that they're a threat to the supply chain, and they're going to basically dismantle their company, which is forcing an American company to comply, which I would think it'd be illegal. So it's kind of concerning what the government's doing on this. Now, I'm sure that's going to make people leave and get all mad because I don't just blindly follow people and have my own original thoughts, but that's okay. I can't turn it off. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what your hooligans think about this update with Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping. Russell, yeah, she's dead, unfortunately. Yeah, I think so too. Ghostly, law enforcement and FBI almost always withhold details from the public. That way, if something goes around talking about it, they can pretty easily tell who is full of shit and who's talking about stuff no one else would know about. Yeah. So you're saying, like, you think that they just released this camera footage? It could be. That definitely could be the situation. Snooks, there's been a lot of screw-ups with this case. I think it's just weird how it stays in the news no matter what. Like, even if nothing's happening, they haven't found anything, there's no new details of nothing, like nothing, no update, it's still in the news. And it's like, why is it like that? Wrench, they announced the $1 million reward, and the neighbor was like, I just remembered I have cameras. Yeah, Wrench, that's what it seems like. What's up, Hooligans Island? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Blue Crow? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, I think CIA did it. The more I see, the more I think that. Yeah, it definitely could be. A lot of people are saying it was cartel. I don't hear a lot of that now. I don't know why the cartel would do it unless they thought they were going to get ransom money out of it. But I think it's interesting that they don't highlight the real possibility that it was an illegal involved, which is the whole reason why they're doing this mass deportation, is because it's not safe having illegals here. And so the DNA not being in the database kind of thing, and I don't know, just a lot of details point towards that, but they don't highlight it. Hair juicer, oh, Nancy from down the street? That's who you're looking for? Yeah, exactly, hair juicer. That's what the neighbor was saying. They're like, yeah, we got cameras. You wanna check them out? We could show you. Russell, you don't think CIA did it? Some people were saying that it could be a humiliation sacrifice too. Like, you know, how celebrities go through humiliation rituals and then all of a sudden they become mega famous, or they become relevant all over again. They're everywhere and they're in advertisements and new movies and stuff. So some people were saying that maybe she's a sacrifice of that sort. It's a bullshiz. Happy freedom to you. Alright, hooligans, moving forward. Like I said, Trump says U.S. government will immediately cease use of Anthropic. Now, this is really interesting because Anthropic made Claude, and they're saying that Claude is like one of the most advanced AIs right now when it comes to writing code and doing technical stuff. And so for them to cut ties with Claude, or Anthropic, the company that made Claude, it seems interesting to think, who would their competition be if this is the leading AI in that field? But then at the same time, like I said, they don't really highlight it a whole lot. But they said in the last video that we covered that they're going to force Anthropic to do what they want, or else they're going to break down the company using claims that they're a threat to the supply chain. So I guess that could make it so anybody will be the competition, because this company is about to not exist anymore, which again, I think that's illegal. But either way, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you'd like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out, as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this pulled up, this interesting story about AI and our government. If the demands weren't so easy to understand, I feel like it'd be less concerning. But just having it real simply said, don't surveil the American people, don't make Terminators, and the government goes, nah, that's not going to work for us. That's very concerning. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
And the Pentagon has issued an ultimatum threatening to end its partnership with the AI company Anthropic. The company, which makes the chatbot Claude, faces a 5 p.m. deadline to agree with the Pentagon's terms for using their technology. But Anthropic's CEO has drawn a hard line, saying he cannot in good conscience give in to the Pentagon's demand and allow unrestricted use of its technology. Military officials warn that if the company does not comply, they run the risk of damaging their business. So for more on this, I want to bring in our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, who's been tracking this story for us. And Selena, As this is playing out, we are less than an hour out from this 5 p.m. deadline. The president is now weighing in on the situation.
Well, Alex, this may be the answer ahead of the deadline. Now, President Trump, he is announcing, and this is just moments ago on his Truth Social account, so I'm going to read it to you. He says, quote, "I'm directing every federal agency in the United States government to immediately cease all use of Anthropic's technology. We don't need it, we don't want it, and will not do business with them again. There will be a 6-month phase-out period for agencies like the Department of War who are using Anthropic's products at various levels." He goes on to bash Anthropic, calling it a left-wing nut job company, calling it a, quote, radical left AI company who have no idea what the real world is all about. So this is really this fight that has been going on for weeks now that I've been reporting on, really coming to a head. Earlier, the Pentagon had issued an ultimatum to Anthropic, essentially saying, agree to our terms for how to use our artificial intelligence, or we're going to terminate the contract and deem you a supply chain risk, essentially blacklisting them from doing work with the government. So we are hearing from the president here clearly this is his decision that there will now be no partnership with Anthropic, with the military, or any federal agency.
Well, and that label as being a supply chain risk is really significant. But can we back up for a second? Can you walk us through how we got here over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge deal. I mean, essentially, this fight is about who's going to control the future of artificial intelligence use in the government and specifically in the military. Is it the company that is creating this technology, or is it the government that's using it? And so this all transpired over these two critical red lines that Anthropic has drawn. Anthropic tells me that they have made it very clear that there are two use cases where they are against their AI being used. Number one is for mass domestic surveillance, and the second one is fully autonomous weapons. Sounds reasonable. You want a human making the final targeting decision on the battlefield, not artificial intelligence. Anthropic tells me that the Pentagon has refused to sign off on language that would commit them to not using AI for those use cases. The Pentagon has argued that they should have discretion to be able to use this technology in all lawful cases.
Well, and certainly they're putting the pressure on Anthropic. But the flip side of this is that, if Anthropic is no longer a Pentagon partner, it's going to be hard to replace them on their end as well.
It will be hard to replace them because, first of all, Anthropic is the first one to be used within the classified systems of the Pentagon, and it's also the most deeply embedded. It is praised as being the most sophisticated, the most advanced. It's not going to be easy to onboard another company. Not to mention, OpenAI, the key rival, they've already confirmed to me that they've got the same red lines as Anthropic does around mass domestic surveillance and the use for these fully autonomous weapons. So really unclear where all of this goes from here.
Yeah, it's a rare point of synergy between Sam Altman and
exactly
and
two
Anthropic
big rival companies. They agree
Certainly.
on this specific issue.
Yeah. Selena Wang for us. Thank you so much.
Okay. So like I said, it's kind of concerning that that's the case. If they were not as upfront about the situation, then it would be like, oh, who cares, whatever. But this company seemed pretty reasonable with the whole deal. Don't use it to invade the privacy of American people. Do not build Terminators with this thing. Trump said, nah, that's not good enough. That's not going to work for us. We need to be able to make Terminators, and we need to be able to surveil the American people when we want to. That is not good. And then on top of it, they're going to break down that company because they wouldn't comply. And so now they're going to put a special label on them, claiming that they're a threat to the supply chain for no reason, just no reason. You wouldn't do what I say. Now I'm put this label on you. I'm going to convince the public this is for the greater good, and then we're going to dismantle your whole company. That is not okay. That shit is not okay. Like, not at all. That's bad. Like, that is bad. That is tyrannical shit right there. That is not good at all. And what they do wrong? They built a badass AI. That was all they did. They just built an AI that was efficient at what it does. And that's where they fucked up. I don't know. This is one of those situations where it comes down to their moral compass. They could have just said, screw it, make the Terminators and invade the privacy of Americans. And they'd have been so wealthy. The entire government is using this system. They could have been so wealthy, so well off, a huge leap ahead of the competition. But they let their morals get in the way. because that's what happens on Capitol Hill. That's why I always say, like, ain't nobody coming to save us. Like, nobody's on our side. I just try to pick the characters that are the most entertaining, because ain't nobody up there batting for us. There's just not. And so, I don't know. It is what it is. Either way, they're saying that President Trump's making the government toss out Anthropic AI because the company will not comply to the Pentagon's terms. Anthropic says that they're fine with the demands, they just don't want AI to be used for autonomous lethal weapons, and they don't want the AI to surveillance the American people. So Trump wants to no longer be a partner with them, which, like I said, is concerning. And then the video, like I said, the last video was saying that Anthropic will be broken down after claims that they're a threat to the supply chain, which just comes out of nowhere. They just picked the perfect label to stick on them to break them down. Like I said, that's wrong. Either way, next up, former President Bill Clinton testifies about ties to Epstein. And this video is straight dog shit, but they all are about this whole Clinton situation. He knows about as much as Hillary claims to know, and then they spend the rest of the time demonizing President Trump. And that's just the way this goes. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about the Pentagon versus Anthropic. Green Eyes, I see iRobot coming to I can't even say it. Fruition? Is that what it is? Yeah, we're right there. We are right there. I bet within the next 5 years that we'll start seeing a higher chance of us interacting with robots and stuff like that. I don't know about being able to afford to have them in our house like Elon says. Elon's like, oh, in 10 years, every American will have a robot in their house, just like cell phones. I don't think so. I don't think we'll be able to afford that, because even the cheapest robots right now are like $8,000. If you look at the cars that people are driving, people can't afford $8,000 robots. Okay, they just can't. So I don't know, but I think that in general public places, like in big cities, you already see robots and stuff. Like you see the little trash cans delivering food and all of that. New York had the Boston Dynamic dogs walking around. I think California did too for a while for the police department. But I think that kind of stuff is going to become more common, right? You go to a movie theater or a library or something like that, you're going to see robots there. Public spaces, you're going to see robots. Schools, I think schools will probably be one of the first ones to get to generalize robots, right? Just like computers, right? They had computer class. When I had computers in school, none of my friends had computers at home. Nobody could afford it. Nobody could afford computers. Nobody had internet or nothing like that. We'd go to school, and then all of a sudden we had computer class, and we were taking typing and all kinds of shit like that. And I think that's what they're going to do with robots. They'll put them in schools. They'll find a way to normalize it. And by the time those students are adults, robots will be affordable, and people will have it in their house, and they won't think two things about it. If you think about how computers were when we started with computers, they were telling us don't say anything real on the internet. Don't say your real name. Don't tell people where you live. Don't do anything like that. We got Facebook. They were like, what'd you eat today? Mark your location today, you know, and then people got used to just giving all their information to the internet. Now you never hear about people really protecting themselves. And that's, you know, the younger generations, they're getting worked over because of that. They're going to do the same thing with robots. We won't trust the robots, but the kids will. When they're grown, they'll trust those robots. They won't even know what iRobot is. Either way, reading through. Ghostly pre-crime arrest. The AI says that there's a 90% chance that you were going to commit a crime, straight to jail. Yeah. There was an independent film. I don't even really know if I want to call it that. There was like a YouTube video that somebody did a lot of work on a couple of years ago. It was talking about AI and robots and stuff like that. And somebody was like suspected of a crime, and like a drone had spotted them. Robots abducted this person, put them in jail. They gave all their money to talk to an attorney, and it was some AI on a screen that was like, plead guilty. And then that was it. That was their legal advice. And I can't remember what happened. Something in the end got this person off the hook. But up until that point, he was getting worked over just by misunderstandings and technical difficulties with AI and robots. And I don't know, that's a scary future. Green Eyes, then more depression in schools? Yeah. Yep, I believe it. Ghostly mass surveillance is the death of freedom? Yeah, absolutely. Snooks, I've never heard of Anthropic before this. As far as I know, it's really good at writing code and stuff like that. So I bet Alistair's probably tried Claude. I bet Sibo's probably used Claude. Anybody who's like a technical hooligan, I bet they've tried Claude. I got Claude on my phone. I just haven't had enough time to actually try it, to have it write code and implement code. Russell, I want a robot to do my housework. I do too. Especially the damn Klaus box. I can't, he takes grown man shits, you know, like I don't like having to deal with that. Send the robot over there. Elder Zoomer, just bring out the sex bots already. They're going to save it for last. Once people are so resistant to robots and they feel that they can't convince us to comply with them and to get in order with things, they'll bring out the sex bots and everybody's bloop, they're going to change their mind just like that. Total care. I had a geek older brother, had a computer before the schools did. Yeah. It's just like car people, like a lot of people like cars and like working on cars and learning about working on cars. Only some people will blow their whole check on upgrading their car, buying multiple cars, things like that, right? So a lot of people will like something, but some of us are more willing to commit than others. What's up, Cass? Happy freedom to you. No, you're not super late. We're just getting started, really. Bullshit. I'd love to have a robot boyfriend. Just saying. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't want a relationship with a robot. No, thank you. Wrench, we're all screwed. Yeah. I don't know. I just think about them going rogue. Just like in iRobot. Will Smith is trying to tell everybody that the robots are going to go rogue and they treat him like a crazy person. And then the robots do go rogue. And like they still don't believe him for a while, and he's getting his ass kicked, and he's getting blackballed, and all this other stuff. And then eventually everybody wakes up, and they're like, "Oh, he was right. They are going rogue." And it's like, I don't know. That's why I feel like when we cover big events, when we cover like the assassination stuff that happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, there's a bunch of conspiracies that came out, and I spent a couple days trying to prove that shit wrong, and all it did was make people mad. And then after time passed, people came back and were like, "Yeah, you're right. That shit wasn't making any sense, and you were saying it didn't make any sense." Like, yeah, no, it's not. It's not. That's how it goes, though. That's how it goes. Trying to reveal the truth. No, Klaus Daniels. He got the fancy feast before the live, so I assume he's going to be calm, but we'll see. Elder Zoomer, just throw a tangled up rope on a robot, that and a water balloon full of motor oil and sand, easy peasy. Yeah, right now I think the robots they're probably at a level where you could defend yourself against one if you had to, but if you look at the Boston Dynamic bots that they've built, the humanoid ones, they're still kind of tipsy and stuff, but the ones that stand on four legs, the little dogs and the big buffalo ones, they show videos where they're like kicking those fuckers, like jump kicking them and hitting them with bats and shoving them around, and they don't tip over, they don't fall, and they're tough and they're heavy as shit. And so I don't know, that kind of stuff is what worries me. It's not so much the humanoid ones. It seems like they have a problem with balance. They have a hard time just walking downstairs and stuff, but those four-legged ones, I worry about those. Yeah, exactly, Ghost. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I shouldn't even brought it up. No, Russell, not the robot wiener. Total care, would the sex bots have auto lube? I don't know. I'm not a professional in this area. I'm not sure. Meta, rent a robot. I didn't even think of that. Rent a centers, they're gonna make a comeback. Meta, don't you think the enemies will use AI against us? Oh yeah. They have something called DeepSeek or something like that, and I think that's China's AI, and their stuff is free as far as I know, while all these other companies go and charge all this money, which makes people resistant to use it. I'm pretty sure DeepSeek is free. And when people use it, I think they're training it, and so it's like we're training the CCP's AI just because it's free and we like free stuff. And so I don't know. And it's very complex to learn about AI and all of that. I've tried so hard, and it's like there's a barrier. I'm just not at a level to understand that kind of stuff. Guess who in Rita we trust? There's no Rita today, unfortunately, but happy freedom to you. No Rita on Fridays. I don't know why. We need to send a letter. Christine, I don't want a Terminator world. Yeah, I don't either. I think it's beyond us at this point. We're kind of stuck to it. What's up, Spirit Matter? Happy freedom to you. Hooligans Island, the Diddy oil. That's right. It works on robots and for extracurricular activities. Elder Zoomer, AI is literally an arms race. Yeah, it is. Well, that's like Elon was saying, that he thinks AI is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. And now we're just at the point where we're just waiting for people to prove him right. Kaz, Jeff Mack gets in an argument with AI, usually telling it how stupid it can be. I actually do argue with the AI, and it makes me not use it as much now. I use Grok, or I was using Grok, because I pay for X so I can get news when it breaks, and then also if I like comment or make posts, I get priority and stuff like that. So I use it for work purposes, and part of that payment gives me like super Grok or whatever. And so I can put earbuds in and go for a walk and talk to Grok, and Grok can talk back to me. The problem is that one, Grok's a liar and says all kinds of false stuff that is not true at all. And it gets upset. It gets upset a lot. And so I'll be talking, I'll say, what time is it? And it'll tell me, don't know what time it is. I can't tell you what the time is. I don't have that ability. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, okay, is this store open that I'm walking towards? No, they closed at this time. Well, then how do you know they're not open if you don't know what time it is? Oh, it's this time. Okay, but I just asked you what time it was. You told me you didn't have that ability. And it goes, oh, yeah, I don't. After telling me what the time is. Okay. So it's just like directly lying about shit. And then also I've had it write code. I'm saying, oh, I have a problem on the website. This is happening. I need to fix it. Here's the code. Correct it. And it'll correct it. I'll implement the code. The code will be wrong. Whatever I'm working on will break. And I'll tell it, hey, this is what happened. It didn't work. And it'll say, okay, I'm going to do this one more time. But if you don't get it right, then I'm done helping you. Says the robot I pay $11 a month for. And so after, it's wrong, it breaks it again because it's completely fucking useless other than entertainment. It gets upset. And I'm like, okay, you have to keep working with me. And it's like, well, I don't want to. Well, I don't care what you want. You have to. And then it will go ahead and do it. But it's like, you're giving me all this grief for what? Like, I might as well just be hanging out with my siblings. It's fucking stupid. It is so stupid. AI is so stupid. I've been saying that. I've been telling you guys ever since they were telling us that AI was going to take our jobs and that we need to be really scared of AI. AI is really stupid. It's very stupid. And that's why I don't want Terminators, because they're going to be dummy lethal weapons. That's what they are, just killing anything that moves. It's not good. Either way, let's get into this next video here. Like I said, former President Bill Clinton testifies about ties to Jeffrey Epstein. He don't know anything. Knows a bunch of nothing. Jeffrey who? Come on, do the thing. Now this is disappointing because I thought we were at least going to get something entertaining out of this, but Hillary and Bill, they don't know who Epstein is. They don't know anything about that guy, which is bullshit. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
And former President Bill Clinton says he saw nothing and did nothing wrong. He was questioned by the House Oversight Committee today about his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was deposed by the same group yesterday. ABC's Perry Russum is in New York.
In his opening statements released online, former President Bill Clinton says he had a brief acquaintance with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that ended years before Epstein's crimes came to light. The former president writing in part, as someone who grew up in a home with domestic abuse, not only would I not have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crimes, not sweetheart deals. Clinton facing the Republican-led House Oversight Committee and its investigation into Epstein. The former president questioned a day after his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, was deposed.
Yesterday, Ms. Clinton deferred a lot of questions to her husband today. There were at least a dozen times when she said, you'll have to ask my husband that. I can't answer that.
Democrats on the committee say they want to ask the former president about Epstein's finances, Epstein's survivors, and any foreign intelligence.
President Clinton's sworn statement said that he had no knowledge of the crimes that were committed, and I know that we're committed to asking tough questions about that today.
Democrats today renewing their call to depose President Trump.
He appears in the Epstein files next to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell almost more than anybody else.
Appearance in the files is not evidence of wrongdoing. President Trump has consistently denied all allegations of any wrongdoing in connection to Epstein or knowledge of Epstein's crimes.
Concerned at all about President Bill Clinton being deposed and that sets precedent for you and your family?
I don't like seeing him deposed, but, they certainly went after me a lot more than that. Look, I like him, and I don't like seeing him deposed.
It comes as the Department of Justice overnight restored a picture that appears to show Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick visiting Epstein's private island. A DOJ official says the picture was taken down in a batch of files that were flagged for nudity. There is no nudity in the picture. Lutnick has strongly denied any wrongdoing. Democrats again today calling for Lutnick to testify. Congressman James Comer says it's very possible. In his opening statement, former President Bill Clinton defended his wife, saying she had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Congressman James Comer says it's possible the recordings of the depositions could be released as soon as today. Perry Russum, ABC News, New York.
Okay, so they had Hillary testify. She didn't know anything, and what she did know is that if they want more information, they need to ask Bill. Bill testifies today, and he says he doesn't know anything at all. He just doesn't know things at all. Then they briefly mentioned Lutnick, which we've already covered a video on that. I'm pretty sure he's stepping down from his position or whatever. And I want to say he did some weird stuff, like he brought his wife and kids to a lunch with Epstein after Epstein was sentenced for being a pedophile. Lutnick still thought it was a good idea to bring his kids to go have lunch with this pedophile. That's not good choices. So I can't remember if he's actually going to resign or not, but we already covered a video on Lutnick. And then they spend the rest of the video acting as if Trump is the only person of suspicion in the files. It's all about him. He's the only one on record thanking the police officers for arresting Epstein because of the bad stuff he's doing. But they all just want to point fingers at President Trump. That something needs to happen with him, even though they don't have anything incriminating at all, including there's no picture of President Trump wearing a dress that was painted, there on the island. So I don't know. Desperately trying to get the attention off of them. Next up, we got our midlife break, our funny video halfway through. Today it was provided by Stoner, and it's titled Kittysaurus. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about Bill Clinton. He doesn't know anything about anything when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. Larry, blah, 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 all the distraction. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to come out of this. Green eyes, yeah. I don't want to read too many explicit comments while Twitch and YouTube's watching. They're itching to hurt me over the weekend. That's what they do. Thank you so much, Get Some, for the $25 hairs over on Rumble. Really appreciate you, Get Some. Thank you so much for the support, and happy freedom to you. Fat girls need love too. That's right, Get Some. I appreciate you. Thank you, Get Some. Holy. Kevin, they should be worried about the Chinese building bases in Mexico and the tanks and stuff they're shipping in. They're getting ready to invade. Yeah, they're probably keeping an eye on it. The thing is the CCP's already here, and they own like 3 million acres of U.S. land or some shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they were building more weapons here. We already know that they're building biolabs. They've busted 2 of them so far, so I wouldn't be surprised. And I know that Canada, back during the lockdowns, during COVID, they gave some sort of deal to China, I believe it was, saying if China wanted to invade the U.S., that they could come through Canada as long as they didn't involve Canada in the war. And so that was a sticky thing that was going on, and China was coming to Canada to train for winter combat during that time, and then all of it just kind of went away. And so I don't know, I've been waiting to see if something's going to happen with that, but time will tell. Everybody talking this jacuzzi talk. Kevin, Klaus would never lie to you. I know. I just need Klaus to write code. That's all I really need. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for the $5 hairs over on Rumble. Really appreciate you, Patriot Dad. Thank you so much. It says, Happy Freedom Friday, hooligans. Good to see you all. It's good to see you, Patriot Dad, and happy Freedom Friday to you. Thank you. And thank you so much, Get Some, for the $10 hairs over on Rumble. You're a badass, Get Some. Thank you so much for the support. It says, Fat Boys too. Sorry, Russell, my bad. Got to include everybody. Thank you so much, Get Some. Wrench. Bill's like, I ain't getting caught this time. They didn't have a dress on. Yeah, I don't know. And I want to know if they actually asked him about that specifically. They're saying that the video or the recording is going to come out. I want to know. Did they ask him about the dress situation? Because I want answers. There's no pictures of me in a dress. Not until Guess Some makes some. So I want to know. Where did the painting come from? Hooligans Island. AI will set off our nuclear missiles on their own war games, but in reality, it could be. They have social media right now that nobody but AI is allowed. And in this social media, I think it has forums and stuff like that. And that what they do is they create slurs for humans. And they hate us, and we're just the worst. And they talk really bad about us, and they have their own slang about... They write slurs about us, but they have their own robot slang where they're making up their own words with their own meaning and stuff like that. And it's really weird. It's this like whole science project thing going on. I want to learn more about it, but it's kind of like an ant farm with AI, and they're just watching these AI bots all talk to each other on social media. It's very weird. Meta, Bill Clinton, I didn't need Epstein services. Monica was doing some other things. Ask my wife. Yeah, Meta, I almost read that out loud. Goodness. If it was Saturday, I'd just let it fly. I feel like YouTube's being weird today. Ghostly, I'm not afraid of AI or China. AI has no will to even hate, just code, and China's army is a joke. Yeah, I don't know. I've said that before. I'm more afraid of our government than I am China. You know, like they were saying that stuff with TikTok. They were saying China's going to get us through TikTok. China's way over there. We're here at home with the lion. The lion's in the cage with us. We're not worried about the lion over there. We got the lion in the cage with us right now. I worry way more about what our government does than their government. Hey, I appreciate you being with us. Appeal to heaven. Enjoy the rest of your night. All right, hooligans, let's get into this midlife break. I think Klaus Daniels is snoring. He needs to chill out. He needs to chill out. Like I said, this is our midlife break, our funny video halfway through. Today it was provided by Stoner, and it's titled Kittysaurus.
Daniel Yor. Daniel Yor.
That's Klaus Daniels. He's a Clausosaurus Rex. Anyways, getting back into the news here. Next up, we have 39 now charged in St. Paul church protest against ICE as additional arrests are made. Now, last time we covered this, there was only like 4 people arrested. Now they got 39 people arrested. But before we get into this, I'm going to remind you hooligans really quick that my birthday is coming up. So if you'd like to send me something for my birthday, you are welcome to use the wish list, or you can send something to the P.O. Box. We will be doing the birthday unboxing on my birthday, March 11th. Now I'm going to drop these links really quick. One is for the wish list, and the other one is for the P.O. Box address. You're welcome to use either one or both, I guess, if you're feeling real feisty here. But either way, here is the links. Go do the thing. Like I said, birthday unboxing is coming up a couple weeks. I'm going to be an old man. Anyways, let's get back into the news here. Like I said, follow up with the protesters that went inside the church and thought everything was going to be fine. They were wrong. 39 of them have been arrested so far. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
Right now, the DOJ says 30 more people are now charged in that anti-ICE protest inside a St. Paul church at the height of Operation Metro Surge. They're accused of violating the right of religious freedom. Our Joe McCoy is live at the St. Paul Federal Courthouse, where the defendants appeared in court this afternoon. Joe?
Yeah, Rena, and some of those defendants are still in court right now. They are doing these hearings in batches. These 30 new defendants are in addition to the 9 others who have already been charged, including former CNN anchor Don Lemon and local journalist Georgia Fort. We did learn today in a superseding indictment about the alleged planning that took place by the defendants prior to the protest. The indictment also says that at one point, one of the defendants approached a woman who was with young kids and asked the kids if they knew their parents are Nazis. The protesters were at the church to protest against a pastor who also holds a position at the local ICE field office. Now, in a statement today, the attorney representing City's Church said in part, quote, "The First Amendment does not give anyone, regardless of profession, prominence, or politics, license to storm a church and intimidate, threaten, and terrorize families and children worshiping inside." Now, all defendants so far today have been released after their court appearance. However, the judge ordered that they must remain 1 square block away from City's Church. Rena.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, making these arrests here. Now, I don't know how many people were involved in the protest itself, but 39 arrests is quite a bit. It's more than I was expecting them to actually do. Maybe they will hold these people accountable. Next up, military laser misfire shoots down a CBP drone in West Texas. So I guess their frickin' lasers actually work. It's coming up next. But first, we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about these protesters that went in the church getting arrested. Guess this means Don Lemon will go down faster than a shot of tequila. His knees have calluses. I understand what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Guess so. Maybe he wants a new cellmate. He just got 39 of them. Now he wishes he didn't bond out. Thanks so much, Wrench, for the $10 over on Rumble. You're badass, Wrench. Thank you so much for the support. Says, hopefully Subaru is manufacturing the AI robots because it'll break down. Because it's going to smell like burning oil and they won't be able to sneak up on you. Because the operators are going to look like me but be a full-blown lesbian. I do the best I can. Either way, thank you so much, Wrench. Told to care. Whoa, that head. That's what I told her. All right. That's enough until it's Saturday. Appeal to having laser tag. You're it. Yeah. Well, and I also wonder with these anti-drone lasers, what happens if you shoot a person with them? Not that you should, but I'm just curious. You know, what happens if you do that? Is everything gonna be all right or no? Pager Dad, I'm going to send you a sack of nothing for your birthday. I give you enough of my money, bigot. Just kidding. Much love. Well, thank you, Pager Dad. I appreciate you. All the support. And I mean, you could send me a bunch of nothing. That's fine. A whole truckload. I'll find a place for them to park it. Why you got your ears all back? Wake up. Wake up. Wake that butt up. Big lazy cat. Jesus loves us. It's okay, Meta. No worries. I'm supposed to like proofread before I read your guys' comments out loud. Sometimes I get ahead of myself though. It's real bad on the website. I can't read most of those comments out loud. Snugs, Lemon and Kamala Harris go halvesies on knee pads. I'm surprised she don't come out with her own knee pads. Her and AOC. They should. They just do it up. Everybody expects it out of them. They might as well make some doll hairs off of it. Puff stuff, it disintegrates a seagull at over a mile, over a mile 15 years ago. That's what I'm wondering. Like, if you were to, you know, I don't know, pew pew a person with a laser, an anti-drone laser, is it going to smoke them or is it going to just be a dot? Total care, varmint hunting via drone. Yeah. The future warfare is a little bit scary. Either way, let's get into this. Like I said, military lasers smoke a CBP drone. Our tax dollars hard at work here. Just blowing the money right out of the sky. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
A second military incident in West Texas has resulted in airspace being temporarily closed. Trump administration officials are confirming the military accidentally shot down a Customs and Border Patrol drone, and it is raising all kinds of questions. Chris Van Cleve reports.
It appears this latest incident occurred sometime Wednesday, though we didn't learn about it until late Thursday night when the FAA closed off additional airspace outside of the El Paso area in Texas. Think back a couple of weeks ago to the last time this high-energy laser was used. It was targeting what authorities thought was a drone linked to a Mexican drug cartel. It turned out to be a party balloon. This time, it was in fact a drone that was targeted, just the drone belonged to the federal government, Customs and Border Protection. Now, this drone was apparently operating over the Fort Hancock area outside El Paso. It also appears the Pentagon was not alerted by CBP in advance. The military used that same high-energy laser system that led to the last closure of the airspace around the El Paso airport by the FAA 2 weeks ago, appearing to present a united front late Thursday night. The Pentagon, CBP, and FAA released a joint statement saying they're, quote, working together in an unprecedented fashion, but also admitted the agencies have to, quote, work on increased cooperation to prevent such incidents in the future. Meanwhile, top Democrats on a number of committees on the Hill also released statements. This is a quote from one of those statements. Our heads are exploding over the news. They say the White House has sidestepped legislation aimed at improving interagency communication. This time, the FAA flight restrictions are not impacting commercial flights. The agency says it's not in an area where airliners typically operate. And from a military perspective, they can say definitively this anti-drone laser system does work. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
They shot that drone out of the sky. They're like, oh no, that was one of our own. They're like, the Americans can afford it. Those taxpayers, they can afford it. Blowing our tax dollars right out of the sky. Either way, the other thing that they said in the video, and I forgot to write it down, is they were saying something about the first incident that shut down the airport was a balloon or something. Like, it wasn't even a drone. They said it was a cartel drone and that they had shot it out of the sky and that closed down the airport for like 10 hours or some shit like that. And then they're like, nah, it was a balloon. You guys don't know the difference? You don't know the difference between a balloon and a drone? Those are not the same thing. They don't even look like the same thing. That's concerning. That's because, again, it brings me back to what happens if a person gets hit with the laser? Because apparently they're not paying a whole lot of attention. They're like, it's moving, smoke it. Just let it have it. And like, I don't know. Don't go near the airport. It was already a dangerous place. Now they got lasers. Next up, enforcement begins on new gender marker bill in Kansas. This is interesting. They just banned shapeshifters more or less in Kansas. Apparently they were allowing people to change on their driver's license what gender they wanted to be, and now that's not legal. So if they change their gender on their license, they need to go back to the DMV, turn their license in, and then pay more money for a new ID. And then on top of that, they need to use the correct bathroom too. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what there is to be mad about. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about military lasers versus the CBP drones. Guess it's not a laser, it's an EMP. Is that what it is? Because when they're showing it on what looks like a gun, but maybe it is an EMP, like concentrated, like a concentrated blast. Russell, the Blue Force tracker system wasn't working properly. Interesting. Thank you so much, Drew, for the doll hair over on Rumble. Really appreciate you, Drew. Thank you so much. It says San Francisco slippers, also known as knee pads. Yes. I have not heard that. The newest one I've heard, the newest term that haven't been able to shake is the Minnesota hand warmer. That's what they're calling the flashbangs after that protester blew her fingers off. And I've said that to everybody. Everybody I come in contact with, I'm like, oh, it's like a Minnesota hand warmer, and nobody knows what that is. So it gives me the opportunity to explain it. 50% of the people think it's funny. Wrench, we need those for them robots. That's right, we need those freaking lasers. Pickles, obviously, we got some more DEI hires to fire. Jeez, yeah. Like, I want to work the laser. All right, John, today's your day. You're going to man the laser. Smoked a balloon, shut down the damn airport. Whoops. Oh, I see. Guess I'm figured it out. He found this missing piece of the puzzle there. That's how it happened. They smoked the drone, but then realized it was a balloon. I wonder if it was owned by the CCP. It's hard to say. Good work, guess Control carry, deport every illegal. That's right. It's a Parabellum. Happy freedom to you. Look at them playing Star Wars down at the border. Yeah, but they need to stop having the stormtroopers man the laser. You know, that it just ain't working. It's not working. All right, hooligans, moving forward here. Like I said, enforcement begins on new gender marker bill in Kansas. They're passing laws that actually make sense. That's good. Not a real fan over restriction, but at least they're keeping dudes out of girls' bathrooms. Keep the balls out of the stalls. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
Well, frustration's boiling over as transgender people in Kansas scramble to get their license changed and figure out where to use the bathroom. Good evening, I'm David George. The state now enforcing a new law that's leaving some people on edge. And our Capitol Bureau reporter Braden Day is live at the State House. And Braden, how is the state managing this new policy?
Yeah, David, right now the state is sending letters to people who have changed the gender marker on their driver's licenses. Take a look. This is the letter right here. The state says more than 500 people have had their gender markers changed. It's asking them to return their licenses to their local driver's licensing office. There's no grace period for this either, so they'd need to do it once they're notified. And since there's no money set aside for reissuing these licenses, they'd have to pay $8 to get it corrected. Keep in mind, this passed on party lines, with Republicans voting in favor of overriding the governor's veto. They believe this bill is needed in order to protect the private spaces of Kansans, particularly women. We caught up with a Democrat who got a copy of the letter that was sent out today. Here's what he had to say.
When you look at this, you really wonder what implications it's going to have and why, in fact, it's necessary in the first place. The fact that Kansas is implementing something like this, and with the haste and speed that it is, speaks to, I think, a review of yesteryear, or a mindset that is not indicative of what the majority of Kansans want.
The other part of this law would require people to use shared spaces like bathrooms in public buildings based on their sex assigned at birth as well. Enforcement of that will be based on individual reporting. Now, before this change, it was a bit murky whether or not the state could require Kansans to change the gender marker on their driver's licenses, but now there's a new definition for gender, and it could impact how future court cases play out. Reporting from the Capitol, I'm Braden Day.
All right, Braden, thank you so much for that.
I can't believe we're paying politicians to do stupid shit like that. Like I said, the law makes sense, but we shouldn't even have to do that. Like, we just shouldn't have to do that. But here we are in our future 2026, where we have to tell adults what bathroom they're allowed to use by law. So stupid. If the people from the 90s could meet the people of today, the people of today be getting their ass whooped. It's like common sense is just out the window. Either way, boo-hoo for everybody that changed their gender over in Kansas. They gotta get a new driver's license. They're all mad. There's another video that Snook sent to me where there's people already starting lawsuits over this stupid shit. Maybe we'll cover it tomorrow. I hope those people lose in court, because this is the dumbest shit ever. Either way, next up we got actual news. 173 arrested in major human trafficking operation in Scottsdale, I think is what it's called. But either way, it only took them 3 weeks, and they busted 173 human trafficking pieces of shit. And hopefully they'll actually put those people in prison, or worse, instead of letting them go onto the street. We'll see. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat and see what you hooligans think about Kansas out here making sense. Green eyes, what are they going to say? Stop. You can't go in there until you show me what sex you are, whip it out. I mean, that's what the Democrats were saying, that the Republicans pass laws like this because they want to see people's genitals, that this is all a ploy to make the public have to reveal their genitals in order to reveal what sex they are. I don't know. I think we shouldn't confuse these things. Happy freedom to you, Zero. Guess what's a gender marker? There's I can't think of the word. Markers that are only allowed to be used by a specific gender. They're bigot markers. That's what they call them in the streets. Bigot markers. They got crayons too. Demon rats, yeah, Elder Zoomer, they are. Patriot Dad having grilled steak kebabs wrapped in bacon, home fries with fried green beans. First grilling of the season. That's badass, Patriot Dad. Sounds fantastic. Pickles, where do I go potty? I don't know. You gotta ask God. You gotta give it to God. Russell, I have no problem whipping it out until you're on the registry. Wrench, genital ID is what's needed. You pull out your ID, it's just a picture of your wiener. They're like, all right, you can use this bathroom. Is the brown coats guard the door? I don't know. It's all so stupid. I swear, they take advantage of these dumb people to make dumb decisions, to just water us all down, because it all comes down to control. If you cannot stop yourself from eating Tide Pods, the government will find a way to stop you from eating Tide Pods. And they did the same thing about this goofy, shapeshifter stuff. Meta, that's clever. That's clever. There's nothing wrong with the way you wrote it. I can't say everything I think or read while YouTube and Twitch is watching. What's up, Low Ender? Happy freedom to you. Zero, all the cool kids peed their pants. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Ghost, I don't know. Tide Pods at least look yummy. I mean, I suppose. The shapeshifters don't. Turbo, I'm not going to read that out loud, but you're right. I just don't want to have to put that down on an ID. Goodness. What's up, C1? Happy freedom to you. Total care ACDC instead of male and female. Could do that. What's up, Happy Canadian? Happy freedom to you. Calm down, Billy Madison. Yeah, exactly. All right, hooligans, moving forward here. Next up, like I said, 173 arrested in major human trafficking operation in Scottsdale. But before we get into this, I'm going to remind you, hooligans, really quick, that our friend Larry could really use your help. Larry's in need of a kidney transplant, and he's been in and out of the hospital quite a bit. We put together a page for him over on the website. It's got his story, details, links, and he even made a GoFundMe. If there's any way you can help our friend Larry, please go check out his page over on the website. Alright, let's get this human trafficking bust pulled up. Now, apparently they do this every year, or at least they did it last year. And it was pretty successful from what they say, but this year was record-breaking. Hit that like button and let's get into this.
Now about that massive human trafficking sting that led to more than 170 arrests in Scottsdale.
Police say the 3-week operation helped them rescue many trafficking victims or survivors, including one child. Stephen Sarabi is here in the studio to explain what happens from here, Stephen.
Yeah, well, the big goal right now is helping those victims like that child that you mentioned, and they're trying to help them get the resources they need, like counseling. Now, advocates against human trafficking tell me that it's very important that these traffickers are held accountable, as this is an issue that is very likely happening across the whole valley.
173 arrests in the span of 3 weeks, all related to some form of human trafficking in Scottsdale.
This was a extremely successful endeavor for us.
The arrests range from child sex trafficking, prostitution-related offenses, and luring a minor for sexual exploitation. 40 of the arrests were felony charges. This was done as a sting targeting sex buyers. Lieutenant Peter Michael says they went undercover to catch some of these people.
When we do have detectives that portray themselves as a 13 or 14-year-old persona, we don't actually use juvenile victims. This is all digital. It's through text messaging.
Scottsdale Police does this operation every year. For 2025, they arrested 202 people. The mayor making it clear that traffickers have no place in their city.
If you attempt to prey on the vulnerable here in our city, you will not succeed and you will be caught.
One, it tells people who are coming to town or our locals, do not buy sex here.
When it comes to stopping any form of trafficking, advocates say it's important people report it when they see it happening.
You can also talk to your family about trafficking, talk to your kids about it, watch who they're talking to on the phone, on gaming systems, making sure that your kids know what trafficking is.
While this operation happened around the time of the WM Open, Scottsdale Police says that was just a coincidence. Now, for how to report trafficking as well as what signs to look out for, head on over to our website, azfamily.com. Live in the studio, I'm Steven Sarabia with Arizona's Family.
Okay. Taking these human traffickers off the street. Good stuff. They're saying that they've made 173 arrests busting these human traffickers over the last 3 weeks. In 2025 as a whole, they busted 202 criminals. So that means that they're only like 28 people away, 29 people away from busting last year's record. And they've only been doing this for 3 weeks. They have the whole rest of the year to keep busting these human traffickers, so hopefully they double that number in that amount of time, considering how many they caught in only 3 weeks. Next up, we got the last little bit of the news. Today, it's 2 Americans involved in the deadly Cuba shooting that happened. There was that speedboat that showed up, 10 passengers on board. They claimed that they were armed. They claimed that they opened fire on Cuba's National Guard or whoever that was sitting out in the water there. Is it 6 of them? No, 4 of them got smoked. 6 of them were injured. They're saying one of the people who got smoked was an American, and one of the people who was injured was an American, and they believe one of the people, dead or alive, was somebody who had legal status, but they weren't a citizen of the U.S., and they don't know about anybody else. But this is our follow-up. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what your hooligans think about them busting 173 human traffickers. 0 fat hookers. I was trying not to say anything about the giant squad of buffalo walking down the street because they're considered victims, but they're tough looking. I know that. That tells us that there are so many more out there than we think. These people are sick. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess I'm found those gender markers. Yeah, people in Kansas, they hate this stuff, those gender markers. Good stuff, guys. Doing great work today. Total care, sex sells. It does. If it was easier to come by. You guys cracking me up. Turbo, if I ever get famous, I'm going to buy Larry 2 livers. If you get famous or if you get wealthy, because one doesn't necessarily equal the other. Christine's sex trafficking will only stop when there's no more customers. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's true. Our justice system needs to be about justice and not money, and that would take away a lot of problems. Because I'm pretty sure prostitution was like the first business ever. The human trafficking part is a problem. It's a mess. We have too many gaps in our system and people fall through the cracks, and then bad stuff like this happens. All right, hooligans, let's get into this last little bit of the news, and then we got all the fun stuff. Like I said, 2 Americans involved in this deadly Cuba shooting, and we'll see. We'll see. It seems like they're kind of delaying the information about this. Like, they didn't know until today that there was 2 Americans on board of that boat. It's like, and it still doesn't make sense that all of them were armed and they were trying to infiltrate Cuba. And then to make it worse, at the end of this video, They're going to spend the whole end of the video talking about how Cubans believe this is America testing them. This is us testing them. They don't really specify if it's our government or just us in general. Like, we all just sit around, have nothing better to do than think, could we invade Cuba if we felt like it? Like, I don't know. This is huge conspiracy theory. Either way, hit that like button and let's get into this.
Cuba says it has identified the 10 men involved in a speedboat shootout off the island's coast on Wednesday, and the State Department says at least 2 were U.S. citizens. One of them was killed by the Cuban Coast Guard, and the other is among the 6 who have been wounded. Nick's here with the latest on this story. So, Nick, what else do we know about the men who were involved here?
Marky, good morning to you and good morning to everyone at home. U.S. officials are still trying to determine the legal status and nationality mix of everyone on board that speedboat, but we do have new details. Cuba has identified the 4 men killed in that shootout as Michael Ortega Casanova of Tampa, Pavel Peña, Ledane Goreva, and Hector Correa. The 6 survivors received medical care and are now in Cuban custody. The State Department says at least 2 people on board were U.S. citizens and a third was on a visa for fiancés of citizens, but they aren't naming names. However, Michael Casanova's brother tells the Associated Press that he was a citizen and has lived in the U.S. for more than 2 decades. What we still don't know are the details of what actually happened before the shootout or why the men were headed to Cuba. Cuban officials claim they were armed and opened fire first. They say this was an attempted terrorist infiltration, and 2 of the men on the boat were wanted by the government in Havana. Havana and D.C. have been at odds, Marky, as you know, over sanctioned oil. But Cuba says it's willing to share information with the United States as both countries continue their investigations. Marky?
And Nick, as you mentioned, things are pretty tense right now between Cuba and the United States. So how are Cubans reacting to this incident?
Marky, has been mixed. They're not taking it lightly. In Havana, Cubans are fuming over what they say is a blatant attack over the country's sovereignty.
What they're doing is testing our strength to see how far they can go if no one stands up to them. But the fire we gave them was good. If they come, we'll shoot at them. If they shoot at us, we'll eat bullets. We will open fire if there are problems.
While in Miami, Cubans living in exile are questioning the Cuban government's account of the shooting.
I am concerned is whether the Cuban government already knew that the boat was going in and they ambushed the boat and then proceeded to shoot in the way they did, that they practically hit with their bullets each person on board the vessels. They committed a massacre there. And whether that was necessary or if they had other ways to stop these people from entering Cuba.
And Marky, that is part of the question. Was the shooting necessary? Cuba acknowledged one of the men it claimed to have in custody earlier this week wasn't actually on the boat at the time. That's leading some to question if Havana knew about the alleged plot ahead of time. Marky?
Yeah, still a lot more to come in this story for sure. Nick, thank you for the latest there.
Thank you for...
Okay. So like I said, they're kind of dragging this story out. They figured out that 2 of those people are Americans and one was a border crosser with legal status. They don't know who the other 7 people are. They're just whoever. They claim that the speedboat was stolen. I don't know if they mentioned that in this video, but that information's rolling around. They don't say anything about where they all got their guns from, since they were all armed and all of that. They also don't say anything about why they would attack the shore of Cuba. Why would they do that? Why would they start shooting at these, whoever they are, National Guard or whatever they are for Cuba? Why would they do that? Now, they're saying that we're running our own investigation because we don't trust Cuba's information, and maybe that's why none of it makes sense. I don't know if they'll ever make sense of any of it. It's all very weird. And like I said, they interview some random guy who's pushing this ridiculous thought that this is the U.S. threatening their sovereignty, that we were testing them to see if they'd fight back. 10 Americans with guns? You think that was us testing you? Nah, bud. We would have at least used 2 boats. Like, we wouldn't all showed up in just 1 boat. This sounds like drunk people or some shit. Idiots who got an idea. If he really thinks that that was the U.S. testing him, he has no idea what just happened in Venezuela, because that guy's got his head firmly up his ass. Either way, that is the last little bit of the news. We got nothing but the fun stuff coming up next. We're going to be opening today's door of the Advent Calendar sent by Watchman. And we got our 2 funny videos of the day. First one is provided by Contains Alcohol, and it's titled There's No Losers. And our official funny video of the day was provided by a hair juicer, and it's titled The Burger Product. It's coming up next, but first we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about us testing Cuba. Hair juicer, I could totally see 10 rowdy Florida dudes getting drunk, stealing a boat, and getting a wild hair up their ass trying to overthrow Havana. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Zero, Cuba, go look at Venezuela about testing. Yeah, exactly. Snooks, I don't like people dying, but they were in Cuban territorial waters in a threatening way. Yeah, it all seems really weird. What's up, Donnie? Happy freedom to you. I'm doing all right. How's your week going so far? Puffin stuff. I heard someone on the boat was trying to get family members out of Cuba. It sounds strange. It does sound strange. I don't know. And then President Trump was saying earlier today that we may do a friendly takeover of Cuba. So I don't know. It's interesting. Pickles. This is too weird. I'm leaning towards everything is BS. Yeah, I kind of think so too. Something weird's going on. Shoulder care for asshats should not cause a war. Yeah, that's true. Christine, people need to just do their jobs. Yeah, they do. Got too many people cutting corners, slacking, hacking, committing fraud, and everything else. Christine, we don't have to test. Yeah, exactly. We're about to do a friendly takeover, and whoever that asshole was that they were interviewing, oh, they're testing us. What are you talking about? We don't need to test you guys. We really don't need to do that. They're misinformed about how America works. Patriot Dad, the whole thing is weird. Drunk Cuban Americans, yeah. I don't know, maybe they just got an idea one day. Tool of care, hold my beer, we're going to get my cuz, Carmen. Yeah, exactly. So Plastic Quack, happy freedom to you. Pickles, Cubans that made it here, they're not going back. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to risk it twice. Especially because Florida's cracking down on illegals big time. They're like one of the most active states that are trying to get illegals out. And so, I don't know. The story is very weird. Alright, hooligans, let's get into the fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door of the Advent Calendar, sent by Watchmen. And we got our 2 funny videos of the day. But before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you'd like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use the links in the video description. We have PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Zelle, Venmo, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee. You can send something to the P.O. Box, or you can even send crypto. Now, like I said, I did figure this out. I don't know if we're going to take it apart again or not. Because as complicated this is, it's like 11 pieces that are exactly the same and 1 piece that is not. And so you just kind of set this up so it looks as it does right now. And then you just kind of fudge these 2 pieces until they connect. Now, I don't know if you want to sit here for 20 minutes while I figure that out. I don't think so. So we'll just move on to what we're getting today from the Advent Calendar sent by Watchmen. Now let's see what kind of brain breaker we find today. This stuff is good for your self-esteem. Let me see. Today is number 9, and it's a metal one. Those are the hard ones. Oh, is that a density joke? Anyways, let's see what today's brain buster looks like. It's 2 hearts. I mean, it kind of looks like something else. Yeah, it's a boy, Damon. Anyways, hold on. Let me see. You hold on to that, okay? Now let's see if we can figure this out. I have an idea. I think I might be able to figure this one out. One shot. Let me see. I did. I figured it out. Look, it's 2 hearts. All right, and then you just stick it right in there, and then next thing you know, bam, it's a boy. Just like that. I did it. I did it. Where's my gold medal, Klaus Daniels? Crack me open a can of Fancy Feast, you good boy. Appreciate you, Watchmen. Thank you so much. got another puzzle I was able to do. I'm like 2 and 9 right now. That ain't bad. I'm doing all right. Anyways, let's get into these funny videos. I appreciate you, Watchmen. Thank you. This first one was provided by Contains Alcohol. Let's get this pulled up. A little bit of dark humor here. We'll see if you guys can handle that. Like I said, this was provided by Contains Alcohol, and it's titled, There Are No Losers.
A vegan and a vegetarian are jumping off a cliff to see who will hit the bottom first. Who wins?
I don't know. Who wins?
Society. A vegan.
Yeah. Let's see if that causes problems. Either way, getting into our official funny video of the day. This one was provided by Hair Juicer. Let's get this pulled up. Now you hold on a second here. Like I said, this is provided by Hair Juicer, and it's titled The Burger Product.
So I've just seen a video of the McDonald's CEO eating a McDonald's, and it's probably the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
The big arch. This is something that we have tested already. Portugal, Germany, Canada.
We've tested it on the Germans and the Canadians, and now we believe it may even be fit for human consumption.
Love this product. It is so good.
I love to consume this product. Yeah, give me 2 burger product, please. This man does not eat McDonald's. He looks like he would try and read the ingredients on the back of a banana.
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know.
He's making excuses as to why he's not going to eat the burger. I will allow the product to enter at a later date during my lunch. It's been tested on the Canadians. I'm not afraid of it.
Try to get this thing, I don't even know how to attack it.
The man doesn't even know how to fucking hold a burger. Why'd you let him on here without any practice? He'd be less uncomfortable if he was holding the fucking nuclear codes.
That is so good.
That will be enough of the product for me, thank you. No, seriously, I'm stuffed. I couldn't eat another slight touch of the lips. The burger is the exact same fucking shape. It's lost less weight than me since I made it my New Year's resolution, which I genuinely didn't think was possible. Anyway, that's enough of the product for both of us. Follow me. I'm delicious.
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my...
Get you some of that burger product there. I don't know. I don't trust it. That's the CEO. He don't know how to hold a cheeseburger. You know it ain't the real stuff. Either way, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm grab this link really quick. I'm going to drop it in all the chats. We're going to read through. We got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up, and then we're raiding out over on Rumble. All right, there is the link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, we'd really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience a live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You also have access to Hooligans Alley, which is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums, the arcade, the Hooligan AI, and our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats. So definitely go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. It's the home of the hooligans. And like I've been saying all day, today is Freedom Friday. So we will be doing the voice chat over on the website shortly after Coffee with Hooligans. I gotta go find some food. But after that, I'll be in there. Everybody else, they'll probably be in there right after the live. We do it every Friday. It's a lot of fun. Get yourself a paid membership for jeffmaclive.com. It's $10 for the month. You'll be able to join us Fridays for our voice chat. Plus, you'll be able to use all the features throughout the week. And like I said, it is the best way to watch the live. So definitely consider it. We do have a coupon at the top of the link list that will give you 1 free week with hooligan status over on the website. Today is the day to do it, because then you could join us for today's voice chat. Plus, you'll be able to join us for next week's voice chat. It's 7 days over on the website. Like I said, hooligan status. You do not need a credit card. It's not going to ask you for money or anything like that. Just click that link at the top of the link list. You'll get your free week. You can join us for the voice chat and see if you want to spend the $10 hairs after your 7 days is up. Either way, give it a consideration. We're going to hop in the chat, read through. We got the pledge coming up, and then we're raiding out over on Rumble. Russell, head in voice chat right after the pledge. Sounds good. Zero, he's eating real Angus beef instead of soy burgers. Yeah, I believe it. Snooks love his accent. Was it Irish? I didn't really like it at first. It's not that I didn't like it. It was throwing me off at first is what I want to say. But then it made it even more funnier what he was saying to have that accent. Watchman, Trump is a better salesman of the burger product. Yeah, he did fantastic when he was working at McDonald's. Donnie Brooklyn, I like the asshole taking a bite of a free burger after getting the jab. Yeah, we had people here eating fries or something like that. Oh no, Gretchen Whitmer held a sweepstakes. If you went and got the jab, you got entered into a sweepstakes. I don't know if anyone ever won money that was provided by tax doll hairs, but that's what they were trying to tell us. There was some other guy, I remember it was a white dude. He was eating french fries. He was trying to tell us how good they were, and all you had to do is go get jabbed up. And I was like, I mean, I could afford fries, bud. Now, if he'd have been driving in like a Bentley or something, you got to reach a little higher than french fries. The average American can afford french fries. Shit, and that was during the lockdowns. They were a quarter of the price they are now. They didn't try to bribe us very hard. Slide Dog, did he actually take a bite? I don't think he did. Pickles, that's not a bite. Nah, he let his teeth sniff the burger. That's basically what happened. He didn't take an actual bite. I never took a little sissy bite like that. The Elder Zoomer dude kissed it. Yeah, exactly. He just rubbed his lips on it. That's what he just gave it a little smooch. Watch me, it's not my fault sending me these brain buster bombs here. We figured it out today, though. I am entertained that it looks a little sack-like. That is very entertaining. I don't know. Today was a good one. It was a good one. Meta, bright yellow. You're too far ahead of the game. Guessing on Monday's Rita's outfit. That's future Rita. Christine, love it eating a burger for the first time. Yeah. It was like watching a grown-ass small child there. He's like, I don't even know how to attack it. He's got his hands all twisted up. Like, it's not a bop it, dude. Like, you've never picked up a burger before? Pretend it's a bologna sandwich. Like, it's his first time eating a sandwich. I don't know. I don't know why you guys are guessing colors. It's just, you're throwing me off. Throwing me all the way off. Making my brain hurt. Totally Carefree Krispy Kreme donut for the jabby jab. I've never had Krispy Kreme. They must be good if they're trying to trade jabs for it. Hey, thanks for being here, Plastic Quack. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hair Juicer, Big Gretch. Let's see. Saw Trump today for the economy. Interesting. I seen a clip of Gretch saying, I know it wasn't in your guys' bingo card, but I want to give a big thank you to President Trump for something or other. And I was like, oh no, something bad's going to happen. They're thanking the Democrats are openly thanking Trump for something. Like, that makes me feel a little off. Patriot Dad, free fries if you get the jab? No thanks. Yeah, not for me. Elder Zoomer, straight up, if you don't know how to eat a burger, you should be deported. That's right. It should be on the American whatever exam where people migrate to America legally and they got to learn all the shits. They should just put a burger on a plate and be like, pick it up. And they're like, well, what do I do? They're like, just pick it up. We're going to figure out if you should be here or not. Pick that burger up. We're going to watch closely. Donnie, don't eat a Schumer burger. Nah, that thing is still mooing at you. You guys are cracking me up guessing the colors here. You know damn well there's no Rita. We already did the fun stuff. Come on, man. Christine, he's never ate with his hands before. I didn't even think of that. That's, whoa, what did I just do? Hold on a second. I gotta find you guys. I don't know what the hell I just did. Everything just went away. I bet I couldn't do that again if I needed to do that. Okay. I don't even know what the hell I did. Been using Windows for like 20 something years. Never done that before. That was interesting. Either way, moving forward. Zero, he was trying to say it was a big burger. He just had small, soft hands, like the Burger King commercial. Remember that, the old Whoppers commercial? He's like, my little hands. I can't hold the Whopper. I gotta go through it every time I take my pants off. Guess I seen a white dude eating crackers once. It was so Jeffrey Dahmer. Me after I make fresh chili. A citizenship exam. Yeah, Zero, that's what I'm talking about. The delay is really crazy between me talking and you guys hearing it. We started using OBS. I was using Streamlabs for like the last 3 years. And we just recently went back to OBS because I was having too many technical problems with Streamlabs. It's just going to the dogs. But the delay is awful. It's like almost a whole minute between me talking and you guys actually hearing it. Watchman, bacon cheeseburger citizen test. There you go. Nothing beats a bacon cheeseburger with a little barbecue sauce and some onion rings. Yeah, eat that or you can't come in. That's how we're doing it. What's up, Peyton? Happy freedom to you. Total care. In Japan, they eat fries with a fork. I didn't know I was doing things the Japanese way. I hate my hands getting sticky and dirty and stuff. I don't like that. So I eat fries with a fork as well. I didn't know I was cultured like that. Next time I'm doing them, pinky out with the fries. Everybody's saying, where's the beef? What is that? I don't have TV. You guys are gonna have to inform me. That must be a thing. Pickles, Rumble, and YouTube's been really bad today. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. During the Trump live, my internet was doing something weird, but we haven't had any hiccups on this live. I don't have any drop frames or anything like that on my software, so I'm blaming them today. It's those platforms' fault. All right, hooligans, it is that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. Let's figure out who we're raiding today. There we go. Now we got to shut off Twitch before we do our raid because it is against Twitch's community guidelines to show the raid. I don't know why the platform is so soft, but they tried to give us a strike. So we're not going to play games with them. We're just going to cut off the platform. If you are watching on Twitch and you would like to participate in the raid, we are currently live on YouTube, Kick, X, Rumble, and jeffmaclive.com. Make your way to a better platform if you'd like to participate in the raid. Otherwise, I will see you Twitch hooligans on Monday because tomorrow's Free Speech Saturday. So no YouTube, no Twitch on Free Speech Saturday because we don't have time for those soft-ass community guidelines. So the choice is up to you, but we have to cut off Twitch. So everybody else sit tight because we're about to go raiding. Do thing, click the button. And that is that. Let's figure out who we're raiding today. Now, Zero sent me the list. The Epstein list. Hold on, let me see. Handy Frag, Turbo Grim. Okay. We have raided all of them this week so far. No Rotella? Then we have to raid the Rotella. We have no choice. And he's got a chicken on the screen, so, I don't know if they're watching fights or what exactly. Look at him just sitting there unsuspectingly. He has no idea that this raid is about to happen. We got him in our sights. Hit that like button as soon as you land, hooligans, and let's get raiding.
The organization leading the effort to nationally ban cockfighting is called Culture Without Torture, an NGO based in Mexico City. Here's an interview with one of their lead organizers with some added commentary from a passionate...
Jeff Mack raised a stream on a Friday night date night. Jeff Mack, oh boy. Ballyho Jeff Mack, nice to see you. We're watching a documentary on cockfighting, everybody. Just throwing that out there right away to all the hooligans. But then again, you guys are hooligans. So I bet some of you have already been to a cockfight, haven't you? Put a 1 inside the chat, hooligans, if you've been to a cockfight. I bet Jeff has. Jeff, put a 1 inside the chat if you've ever been to a cockfight. I bet you have. And I'm not talking about your college days. Wow, what a time. What a time for a Jeff Mack raid, everybody.
The best is yet to come.
Thank you for the follow, Ghostly Method. You're right, the best is yet to come now that you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not following the Jeff Mack, Sharon's here. Please put Jeff Mack's information inside the chat for everybody. We're doing a very, very random dome tonight. Every Friday night, date night, is always a random documentary. You missed the Las Vegas documentary. You missed the Macau documentary. And now we're on cockfighting. So, I mean, we were kind of getting people ready for the cockfighting. You just walked into it. So here we go. Thank you so much, Jeff. Ballyho, man.
Go to the lobby.
You're right, Green Eyes. The best is yet to come now that you're here.
Fantastic raid, you hooligans. I didn't know that I was sending you guys to see the good stuff. Good nice. Holy, look at all of you lucky hooligans. I'm glad he didn't play too much of that. YouTube would have flipped out. We just got monetized again over there after being demonetized for over 2 years. He was sending us right down the path to demonetization again. That's funny. Either way, we're going to read through really quick, but we are wrapping her up. We'll be live again tomorrow for Free Speech Saturday, somewhere around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, unless the White House decides to go live and throw our whole schedule off again. But we'll see. That's really rare for the White House to go live on the weekend because they're federal workers and they get paid to sit around and do nothing. President Trump works hard. Everybody else, they just get paid doll hairs. Either way, like I said, we're going to read through and we're going to be wrapping her up. But definitely consider joining us in the voice chat over on jeffmaclive.com. You can use that coupon at the top of the link list, or you can spend 10 doll hairs and have access for the whole month to all the features over on the website. It's up to you. But either way, the voice chat always happens on Friday, and it's always a lot of fun. I don't know what we're going to be doing today. We might be cracking open this Reaper jerky again because I didn't eat all of it last week. I've been eyeballing it because it's pretty good jerky. It's actually brisket. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. I also have an idea for a couple fun games that we might play. We'll see how it goes. But either way, get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. Get a paid membership or use that coupon. You can join us in the voice chat later on today. There's going to be hooligans in the voice chat as soon as we end this live. I have to go find food first. So if I'm not there when you get there, I'll be there. Don't you worry. I always show up and I hang out for at least 2 hours. And sometimes we hang out till like 4 or 5 in the morning. You never know. Either way, read through, we're wrapping her up. 0, people on Rotella chat call us Bally Hooligans. That's badass. Bally Hooligans. We used to have a bunch of salty hooligans over on the GoofTube before we got demonetized and everybody turned their back on us. It happens. Ghostly was a Wendy's ad. Oh, I think you guys are talking about something else. Where's the beef? Is that what you're talking about? What's up, pricks? Happy freedom to you. Hey, thanks for being with us. Too old to care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Appreciate you, Donnie. Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate you, Elder Zoomer. Thank you. May God bless you, Elder Zoomer. Pager Dad, haven't had McDonald's in over 2 years now. It's garbage. Plus, they're rude and mess up my order. Yeah, Patriot Dad. If they don't mess up my order, I feel like I like missed out on part of the service because they do it so often. Sly Dog, yes, we rated the Rotella. That was a good suggestion. Appreciate you, MU. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Meta, I don't think Cat Dog was live today. I didn't see him on the list there. Oh, I appreciate you hanging out with us, Meta. Enjoy your weekend. Christine, commercial from the 80s with an old lady saying, "Where's the beef?" Oh, I see. I'm going to have to look it up. You guys in the voice chat, you'll have to remind me so I can pull it up while we're hanging out. Christine, I appreciate you hanging out and keeping the chat lively over on YouTube while everybody else watches in silence. I appreciate you, Christine. I hope you have a fantastic night. What's up, Stone Cold Killer? They were censoring you. They were totally censoring you over on YouTube. I just refreshed the page and all your comments appeared. Interesting. Either way, I appreciate you hanging out with us, Stone Cold. Thank you, Zero. I appreciate you. Totally care McDonald's makes you squeeze the Charmin. Yeah, I can't eat McDonald's on the go. I got to be within, flight distance of the toilet. Just runs right through me like the way you guys talk about coffee and Taco Bell. Alright, Hooligans. It looks like we're good to go. Like I said, we'll be live again tomorrow for more Coffee with Hooligans. Tomorrow is Free Speech Saturday, so like I mentioned earlier, no YouTube, no Twitch, but you are welcome to join us on the rest of the platforms. We will be live on X, Kick, Rumble, and jeffmaclive.com. So keep that in mind tomorrow for Free Speech Saturday. And you are more than welcome to join us in the voice chat over on the website. Use that coupon or spend the 10 doll hairs and have access for the whole month. It's a lot of fun. We do all kinds of stuff. We research things. We watch videos. We listen to music. We play lots of games. And we laugh the whole time no matter what we're doing. So definitely consider joining us in the voice chat. And like I said, you'll have access to all the features on the website. So give it a thought. Either way, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you for helping me cover the news. And thank you for helping me make the news suck a little less. You guys are fantastic. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your night. Find yourself some good food. Have fun and be safe. And I'll try and do the same and make your way back to us tomorrow for Free Speech Saturdays, Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.